What happens when a graduate student, advocating for human rights, suddenly disappears into the hands of masked federal agents? Is this a matter of national security, or a chilling sign of academic freedom under siege? Welcome to TVAI. Tonight, we explore the unfolding controversy surrounding Rümeysa Öztürk, a Turkish doctoral student at Tufts University who has become the center of an international human rights debate. Detained by ICE in what critics are calling a politically motivated crackdown, her case raises urgent questions about civil liberties, immigration law, and freedom of speech in the United States. Rümeysa Öztürk, a promising PhD student in international relations, has been studying and living in the United States under a valid student visa. Known among peers for her academic rigor and outspoken advocacy for Palestinian rights, Öztürk often participated in campus panels, wrote opinion pieces, and joined peaceful protests. In one of her recent op-eds, she criticized Tufts University's handling of pro-Palestinian voices on campus, accusing the administration of failing to protect student expression. On the evening of March 25, 2025, while on her way to attend a Ramadan iftar gathering, Öztürk was suddenly intercepted by men in civilian clothes and masks. A video recorded by a bystander shows her being handcuffed without resistance and placed into an unmarked vehicle. These agents, later confirmed to be from Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE, offered no public explanation at the time of her detention. According to statements later released by the Department of Homeland Security, Öztürk's visa was revoked on suspicions of supporting Hamas, a designated terrorist organization. However, authorities have yet to release concrete evidence supporting this claim. Civil rights advocates argue that her detention appears to be less about national security and more about silencing dissent. The Tufts administration issued a statement expressing deep concern over the arrest, emphasizing that they had no knowledge of any wrongdoing by Öztürk and calling for transparency in the legal process. Politicians and activists swiftly condemned the arrest. Congresswoman Ayanna Pressley, Senator Elizabeth Warren, and Representative Rashida Tlaib released public statements urging ICE to release Öztürk immediately and to respect the constitutional rights of all individuals, regardless of nationality or immigration status. Pressley called the arrest a grave overreach, while Tlaib described it as part of a broader crackdown on Palestinian advocacy in America. Initially taken to a detention facility in Vermont, Öztürk was later transferred to Louisiana without clear legal justification. Her lawyers argue that this move was intended to complicate her legal defense, a practice known as forum shopping, where cases are shifted to jurisdictions less favorable to the defendant. On April 4th, a federal judge in Boston ruled that her case should return to Vermont, where she was originally detained. The ruling marked a minor victory for her legal team, but the broader legal process remains fraught with uncertainty. Öztürk's case has become a flashpoint in the ongoing debate over academic freedom, immigration enforcement, and the treatment of international students in the United States. Critics argue that her arrest sets a dangerous precedent, one where political speech and activism could trigger federal retaliation. The broader implications extend beyond the university campus. Muslim and Middle Eastern communities across the U.S. have expressed growing concern that their advocacy work is being surveilled or mischaracterized as extremism. This, in turn, risks chilling legitimate discourse and weakening the democratic principles of free expression. In the weeks following her detention, protests have erupted on university campuses nationwide. Students and faculty at Tufts and beyond have organized rallies, sit-ins, and online campaigns under the hashtag #FreeRümeysa. International human rights organizations, including Amnesty International, have called on the U.S. government to ensure due process and to clarify the legal basis for her detention. Diplomatic tensions are also brewing. The Turkish government has requested consular access and raised concerns over the treatment of one of its citizens. Some analysts warn that the case could strain U.S.-Turkey relations if not resolved transparently. As the legal battle continues, Rümeysa Öztürk remains in ICE custody, thousands of miles from her university and her support network. Her story raises a fundamental question. Is this an isolated case driven by national security, or a symbol of a deeper erosion of civil liberties in America? The ripple effects of Öztürk's detention are being felt far and wide. Advocacy groups report an uptick in student anxiety, particularly among international and Muslim students who fear similar retaliation. University faculty members are organizing teach-ins and public forums to defend the values of academic freedom and political expression. Meanwhile, Öztürk's family in Turkey has remained largely silent, with her father issuing a brief statement pleading for her safe return. Turkish media outlets have begun covering the story intensely, framing it as a violation of human rights and suggesting that the U.S. has double standards when it comes to freedom of expression. Legal scholars are also weighing in, noting that this case could become a landmark in determining how far the U.S. government can go in linking political beliefs with immigration status. If Öztürk is ultimately deported or charged, it could set a precedent for the treatment of other non-citizens involved in political advocacy. As pressure mounts from both domestic and international actors, the Biden administration faces a difficult balancing act, defending national security while preserving civil liberties. Thus far, the White House has issued a cautious statement affirming due process, but has declined to comment further. For many, the silence from top U.S. officials is deafening. Activists argue that without strong public support for Öztürk's rights, other students, scholars, and immigrants may find themselves one step away from becoming political prisoners. Some observers note that the Öztürk case is symptomatic of a wider trend. Since October 7, 2023, there has been a sharp uptick in the surveillance and detention of individuals perceived to be sympathetic to the Palestinian cause. Immigration enforcement, once seen primarily as a tool for controlling borders, is now being scrutinized for its potential to suppress political expression. The use of vague security threats to justify detentions poses a serious risk to democratic norms. Moreover, Öztürk's research itself is coming under fire. Her academic work focused on foreign policy, soft power, and the politics of resistance in the Middle East. Critics worry that such fields are being unfairly targeted, while supporters insist that academic inquiry must remain free from political intimidation. The chilling effect on university research could be profound, discouraging students and faculty alike from engaging in controversial but vital scholarship. We want to hear from you. Does the detention of a student over her political beliefs reflect a commitment to safety, or a betrayal of the very freedoms that define the United States? Stay with TVAI for more in-depth global analysis, where truth meets clarity.